welcome to Create This, where we do a lot of DIY projects with stuff that you may or may not have in your closet or drawers. Thank you for joining me today here at the Create This studio. And today we are going to be concentrating on doing metal faux finishes, turning something like cardboard into something that looks like metal. I took a piece of mat board and I just covered it with some different mediums. And one of them is modeling paste. It doesn't come in this container anymore. It will come in a container that looks like this, a Deco Art Media container. And I also took some crackle paste and some texture paste, texture sand paste, and placed it on my mat board. So here is what the modeling paste looks like. And then we have the crackle, and I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can help you with seeing that better. See the little cracks in there? And then this one is the texture sand. It's very gritty. Now all of these can be mixed with any paint color. Some of them will stay true to that paint color, and some of them will reduce the paint color by a certain percentage, so it will be a lighter value because each of these goes on white. And the first one I want to do is show you how to create something that looks rusted. So I painted the whole thing with lamp black. And then I took out a bottle of raw sienna and burnt sienna and a sea silk sponge. And the difference between a sea silk sponge and a sea wool sponge is the size of the holes. So a sea silk is going to have finer holes and a sea wool is going to have larger holes. Always get your sponge wet first and then wring all the water out before you start putting paint on it. Since I base coated this in black, I then took the next darker color, which is the burnt sienna. And when I use the sponge, I like to do what I call this trick, if you will, is you dab it in there once, you twirl it around, tap it 3 times, twirl it around the other way, tap it 3 times, and back and forth until you get a nice coverage. It's not just one dot. And then you start tapping over your black. And because it has a fair amount of moisture in it, it softens it out. You can wash the brush out, the sponge out, get out most of the moisture, and then go in and pick up some raw sienna and do the same technique. You're going to dip it in the paint, move it into another section, swirl it around, tap it 3 times, swirl it around, tap it 3 times, and then you have nice coverage. And you're going to put that on top. And then you get this nice rusty look to your project. If you want to add a metallic, you could, but I think this is, metallic sometimes are hard to find. So if you just stayed with these colors, you would have a nice rusty look color. And that's what I did with the crackle medium and the sandy coverage. The second one is a patinaed look. So I have a base black, and then I'm going to add dark forest, teal green, and then sea glass on top. So let me put a puddle of each of those out. And this time I'm going to use my Moon. My moon brush. It's a very stiff bristle brush. It's almost like a dome round, but it's flat. So one of these will work. You want something stiff, so you're scrubbing along the top. I'm going to start with loading my brush in the Black Forest. Take a dry piece of paper towel. And I'm going to wipe most of that off. And then I'm going to start scrubbing. Now, if you have texture paste on there, the paint will hit the tops of the hills before it hits the valleys. And this is a very subtle color on the black because it's very close in value. So you're not going to really see a whole lot of that right now. I'm going to wash that brush out. And then I'm going to go over to the next color, which is that teal green. Wipe most of that off. And then with a gentle touch, I'm just trying to scrub over the tops of the modeling paste. And I didn't put it on too thick, so I'm not going to have a lot of peaks. But you can see it's starting to pop up. The next color I'm going to do is the sea glass. It's a lighter green. And I'm going to just very gently scrub over the whole area and see what kind of design that I left with the paste. And so we have black base with the Black Forest first, teal, green, and then the sea glass. And that gives you a kind of like a patina look metal. So this is what it looks like when you start. And that's what it looks like after you put the paint on it. With the crackle, it didn't show up a whole lot. I'm going to put some of this sea glass over here. See if that helps the crack show up a little bit more. Yeah, that does it. See how the cracks start to show up when you scrub over the top very carefully? So you get the cracks are thicker when you add more paste and they're finer when you have less paste. That's the trick to that crackle medium. You can add a little bit of this teal. Don't put too much pressure because then you'll get it solid again. You want to stay up on the top just to hit the tops of the surfaces. Let's see on the sand. We'll do it on the sand. You can even get in closer this way. I'll do a little bit of the teal. And I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And if you're watching the replays, thank you for watching the replays. Okay, I'm going to hit the tops of the sand, sandy texture with the teal. I'm going to wipe my brush out, and then I'm going to go over to the sea glass and wipe most of that off on my paper towel, and then hit the top very lightly. It's like if you put your finger here and you're just tickling the surface, barely touching the hairs on the top of your hand. And if it doesn't punch up enough color for you, go and pick up some Snow White and add that to your dirty brush, meaning don't clean out the brush from the sea glass. Just add it right to it, wipe most of it off, and come over and again, just hit a few areas, a few of those mountaintops, those peaks. If you have any questions about mediums or how to apply them, or if something happened when you tried one, it didn't work, let me know. If I can't answer it, I will find out the answer for you, and I will get back to you on that. So see how that lightened that right up? So isn't that cool? So I'm going to go over on this side and do it here. So with a little bit of the sea glass in my brush and a little bit of white in there. And I'm going to hit just the tops of the peaks if I can help it. Kind of spooky looking is what I think that it turns out to be. Kind of eerie looking. So what I did was to enhance things. As I went to, I took one of these tags. Let me find it. There it is. I took a wooden tag and I put some of the modeling paste on top. And then I stuck little trinkety things. This is a button. I cut the back, snipped the back off with a wire cutter. And this is a charm which had a little loop at the top of it, and I snipped that off. Not that you can see all of this very well. However, I got, if I can do this at the right angle. So here's a teapot. There's a key. This is actually a lock, and you can't really see it well, but you will in a second. This is a heart charm, and this is, I don't know if it was an earring. It's a butterfly. I don't know if it was an earring or something, but I snipped the back off of it. And they're all pieces of metal like this on there. So what I did was took my big brush and I'm going to take some black paint and go right over this with the black paint. If you're afraid that the paint won't adhere to your metal piece, you can use some paint adhesion medium and it will adhere to that. Just try not to have a lot of water in your brush. That would be one of the tips. Don't have a lot of water. So this is going to be a wooden tag, to me inspired by Alice in Wonderland. We've got the rose, teacup, teapot, a key, a lock. The butterfly, I know, it's stretching it. and the heart. So I'm going to paint the whole thing black. Then I'm going to quickly blow dry it. I'll mute you so you don't have to listen to me blow drying. Okay, it's not completely dry, but close enough. So now I'm going to go in and let's go with the colors to make it look like the metal, the patina. So I'm going to take my, I'll take my moon brush, some black forest, wipe off excess on my paper towel, and then I'm going to start to add this color and go across all these objects that are on top of my medium. And the medium, the modeling paste medium, actually serves as an adhesive in a way to keep the pieces glued in there. So you don't need any more adhesive. You put it in there while it's wet. And you always want to work with something firm behind it, because if you try to keep holding it, it's just going to bounce. It's not going to oops, I didn't blow dry all of that. Let's put some on the rose, some on the teacup. And the more paste you have on there, the higher your peaks, the more movement you'll have in your piece. I'm going to pick up some of that teal green now, wipe most of that off, and start hitting the tops of my piece. All the valleys, all the peaks, everything will start showing up now. If you have designs, you want to go against the design, not with the design. See how the butterfly starts showing up? At the top of that. If you get too much on there, you can always go in with a Q-tip and wipe some off, but we still have one or two other colors we're going to put on, so we'll probably be fine. You don't want to get down into the valleys. You want to stay on the tops as much as possible. Reminds me of like a cemetery. So if you like this programming and you'd like to watch, see more of them, they're on replay on Bubbler Media. And my bestie friend of ever, Melissa Reyes, will post that in the comments where you can go and see our program as well as hers. She's got two programs, Inspiring Adventures and Last Night with Miss Meliz, which will be awesome. And both of those very wonderful shows. You should check those out. There's some wonderful programs on Bubbler Media. Okay, now that I've added that, I'm actually going to wash my brush out this time. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of the sea glass. And I'm going to hit the tops again. It's a hit or miss on these. You know, you hit them, you don't hit them. And this is great for Halloween, I think. And then with the dirty brush, I'm going to just mix in a little bit of the white and touch that on a few areas. Just over the designs, just to give them a little bit more punch. So they pop out. And so there you have it. So it doesn't matter what color metal you have, you can make it look very eerie and float like this is ghostly on your piece. And this is what I did with this one. This is just a piece of tin ornament, and I put the decorative paste over it. I put all these different metal pieces. Some weren't even attached. They're on top of each other. As you can see, there's still holes there for the jewelry. I snipped some holes off. Ladybug, these are pearls, those glue-on pearls, half pearls. Glue those in or put those into the decorative paste. They'll stay in there. And then I put over this probably a very deep burgundy color. And then I added the pinks and I shaded around my pieces to have them show up a little bit more. But if I wanted to, I can just go in and take some white, straight white, and just hit the tops, and I can brighten them up even a little bit more than they were. So butterfly, signature butterfly, my teacup. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this program. Again, you can go on to the Bubbler Media and you can put on your notifications to be notified every time I go live with a new Create This project. And it's all about just creating. It's a DIY. You can do it at home. You can do it with a group of friends. You can do it for your women's club, Girl Scout group, Sunday school, after school. Anything you have going on that you want to get together and get a little creativity going with a couple of your friends, by all means. Just tune into Bubbler Media or go to the website or the YouTube channel and you can see all these programs. So I hope that you had fun. I hope you create this, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much for joining me live and on the replay. Have a good week now.